Welcome to the FCPA training series from Corporate Compliance Insights featuring CCI founder Maurice Gilbert and Tom Fox of Tom Fox Law. Tom has practiced law for 25 years and is now assisting companies with FCPA compliance, risk management, and international transactions. Tom writes and speaks around the world on a variety of topics ranging from FCPA compliance, indemnities, and other forms of risk management. The videos in this series provide an introduction to FCPA compliance for legal, compliance, and operations personnel. Please note, the information should not be considered all-inclusive, and we encourage viewers to seek professional advice prior to implementing any compliance program. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Maurice Gilbert with Corporate Compliance Insights, and joining us again in the studio is Tom Fox of Tom Fox Law. Today we'll be discussing anti-corruption and enforcement across the globe. Tom, can you give our viewers an overview about international conventions on bribery and compliance?
Yes, there are several international conventions which lead the fight against bribery and corruption on a worldwide basis. The largest and most well-known is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or the OECD, who have had 13 good practices. But more than the OECD, other non-governmental organizations or NGOs have conventions against bribery and corruption. So, for instance, the United Nations has a convention against bribery and corruption. The Organization of American States, OAS, the EU, has a convention against bribery and corruption. And even the African States Union has a convention against bribery and corruption. Each of these conventions lays out the principles to fight bribery and corruption, setting out specific programs and plans which countries can then utilize to develop their own individual anti-corruption laws.
What other international anti-corruption laws are there that we need to be attentive to?
Yes, many countries have passed laws or are in the process of looking at anti-corruption and anti-bribery legislation for international operations. So, for instance, the United Kingdom has the UK Bribery Act, which became law on July 1 of 2011. The UK Bribery Act prohibits bribery and corruption outside the United Kingdom, but also has an internal aspect as well. But other countries are moving in this direction as well. Brazil recently passed an anti-corruption and anti-bribery law, and even Russia is now looking into passing such legislation.
Are there other countries that have laws similar to the FCPA?
This is one of the things that most people don't understand about bribery and corruption across the globe. Every country in the world has laws which say you cannot bribe our governmental officials. In other words, they have anti-bribery and anti-corruption domestic laws. The biggest and most best example is China, which this summer, in a very public display, arrested and charged the UK company GlaxoSmithKline, GSK, with numerous violations of domestic Chinese anti-corruption and anti-bribery laws. But every country has such laws, and wherever you want to be, I can assure you that being in a Chinese jail for bribing a Chinese governmental official is not one of those places.
Tom, thanks for joining us, and we welcome you back for the next in our FCPA video series. Thanks for joining us today, and remember, before implementation of your own FCPA compliance program, you may wish to seek professional advice. Also, as a reminder, please visit us online at corporatecomplianceinsights.com.